Good evening, everybody. We are going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a Planning Commission workshop. It is 5:45 on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. Just to note who is here this evening, I guess Mr. Shapaka, did you just want me to read every? Okay, Mr. Shapaka, Mr. Mako, myself, Sarah Pollier, Ms. Laser, Mr. Greenberg, Mr. Tamarkin. That's everybody, and Mr. Soriano is absent this evening. Anything else? Okay. Just a reminder, this is a workshop. There is no public comment tonight. It's going to be 45 minutes this evening. We'll start with the administration for a presentation, and then we'll open it up to our visitors tonight to give us a presentation as to what they would like to discuss. So without further ado, Director Blackford.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Michael Blackford, Director of Planning. And before turning over to the applicant and Planning Commission, just a few words I'd like to say. One is, as you just said, Madam Chair, a reminder that the workshop is really an opportunity for Planning Commission and the applicants to have a dialogue that you really can't normally have in a normal Planning Commission kind of meeting. So it's a great opportunity to ask questions of all sizes and shapes and get that information that might benefit you in the future when we have applications. So as of right now, we do not have any applications submitted. If they choose to move forward with the project, most likely they would be before Planning Commission with the development plan and probably a conditional use and a variance. And after that, then they would go into engineering and building permits. So there's more opportunities for engagement, whether it's Planning Commission, staff, or the public. And it's really at those Planning Commission hearings that's the most appropriate time for really staff and obviously the public to be involved and have words tonight about the project. This site's a little different than some of the other sites that we've seen in the past. And so just to make sure that we're all aware where we're at, have a zoning map up here, and to kind of zoom out of this screen here, when it comes in here, you can see the properties on Hamilton Road. To the top of my screen, to the north there, you have Giant Eagle and Stone Ridge. Here is Beecher Crossing. This is Graders, as someone pointed out earlier. And right here, this lower half of the parcel, that's the one that we're here talking tonight about. The property is zoned neighborhood commercial. Neighborhood commercial allows for a wide array of commercial activities. Very similar kind of uses like we might see just down the street from us at the shops at Rocky Fork, where your typical uses are going to be restaurant, medical, and retail. The types of uses that aren't permitted are more of a auto-related kind of uses. Those require the more intense general commercial zoning. So there is some project history on this site that I think is relevant for discussions, whether it's tonight or in the future. There were a couple of applications submitted on this property. One of those was a development plan submitted in 2018, and there was another development plan submitted in 2019. I believe Mr. Soriano was on the Planning Commission for both of those applications, and then Mr. Greenberg and Mr. Tamarkin were on Planning Commission for the 2019. And I will show the 2018 project here real quickly so you have an idea of what was approved by Planning Commission because, oops, it's not right. Let's go to this one. All right, so on your screen right here, and north is actually on the left of the screen. East is towards the top here. This is what was approved in 2018. At this time, it was the shops of Oberers Crossing. The flower shop Oberers was going to be the main tenant. I think it's about 35,000 square feet that was approved on this site. That was approved by Planning Commission. It was appealed by the neighborhood and the BZBA, the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals, agreed with the residents. So they overturned Planning Commission's decision. That's why we had a fairly similar request in 2019. That request, I think, looked fairly similar to what we see here, where really that proposed building that's on the right side of the screen was a medical use And that was unanimously approved, I believe, by Planning Commission in 2019. That was appealed to the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. They overturned Planning Commission's decision. There was some litigation that happened on the property, and the city entered into a settlement agreement. And so that property right now has the rights to construct what we see up on the screen right now. So this site plan, and hopefully this shows you kind of what the renderings look like. There were one-story buildings. There's not like a good overall rendering here. So they have the right to submit for building permits, engineering approvals, and they could go out here and construct this, without needing Planning Commission approval. So to deviate from that, not necessarily like tenants and uses necessarily, but from that site layout, building design and that really requires the going back through Planning Commission in 2026 and getting those approvals again through a development plan and conditional use and design review. If they decided that they wanted to build, this particular project and operate their facility out of here, they could absolutely do that without Planning Commission approval. But I don't believe that's the intent or the desire. So this is a great opportunity to work, I think, with Planning Commission and the community, and it's really a different discussion today than it was in the past, because instead of really is commercial appropriate on the site, and it has been zoned commercial since I think at least the 90s or 80s, it's not really so much a discussion if commercial is appropriate, it's really how that commercial is going to look, because now they have entitlements and really in 2018, 2019, it was trying to get those entitlements. So now we're just sort of making sure that what's proposed works for the community as best as possible, and with obviously the applicant. So with that, Madam Chair, I thank you for your time, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much for that presentation and the context with the history of the property as well. We will go ahead and open it up to the applicant. If you want to step forward. And I mean, this is going to be more of an informal session because it is a workshop. So I'd like you to state your name and how you're affiliated with the project, and then I'm sure we will have questions from the commission or comments. Thank you.
So my name is Tom Cherrick. I'm the president of Wealthy Development. We're based in Akron, Ohio. We're an 81-year-old real estate development business. We are partnered with Nutex Health, which is a publicly traded micro-hospital business on the NASDAQ, with a little bit over 75 different micro-hospitals throughout the United States and expanding. We got involved in this opportunity because we love this Columbus market. We love Gahanna. We've been looking for a market in Gahanna specifically for the last 5 years. We have not been able to find the right location with the right traffic, demographics, and the right feel. We feel this is a very good location. So we found it in the last 6 months. We reached out to the owners and said, this feels like the right time to develop a new micro-hospital, create a great service for the community. It actually fills a gap. We're not a ambulance, emergency center. We are not a high-traffic business. We are a boutique, private pay medical services building. As I heard, there was a previous applicant that looked to doing a similar service. We are a publicly traded company. We are providing private pay, low density, low traffic, high white glove service for the customers. So it is around 23,000 square feet, single story. Very similar to what was designed previously, open 24 hours. So if somebody gets sick, you don't go to the ER, you're able to come here. Private pay, private insurance, homegrown local doctors. The doctors are based here, residents here, lived here, grew up here. They're partners in the business. So it's a local doctors, local owners, partners with us. So that's our initial speech. Clicker work? It's not working. Oh, nope. You go to the next one. Perfect. We've done 70 locations. They look similar to this based on the feedback on the community. Single story, awnings, overhangs. It's 2.5 acres. It's a 23,000 square foot building. So it's 100,000 square feet of land and a 23,000 square foot building on that land. So it is not a over encumbering on this area. It's not too tall, fits in the area, and it is accessible to residents. Palette, color, final design is always, we take input from the community, we take input from the planning commission, we take input from all the stakeholders, and we design, modify to fit the community, but this is the general feel. 1 story, 23,000 square feet, patient rooms, 3 or 4 overnight. If somebody gets real sick, they can stay overnight. They have a small medical procedure, appendix bursts, and they can have it planned. Small medical procedures. That's our market right there. Not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people coming in and out, a handful of doctors, a handful of nurses, and pre-planned medical procedures, and somebody's son, daughter, sick middle of the night, not worth going to the ER, they're able to come here. That serves our purpose. So I want to open up to questions. We reached out to the HOA already. We reached out on Sunday this week. We had a great conversation. We talked about our use. We talked about our size. Talked about how this would be a complement to the area, how it's a really low traffic type of business. It's not a retail location where in the morning, there's a lot of traffic that comes in. It's very spread out throughout the day, but it's not a retail that has a lot of coffee sold first thing in the morning, creating a lot of traffic. That's not this business. Not supposed to be this business. We're very boutique, white glove service. So I wanted to
Thank
throw
you.
that ahead of time.
Thank you very much, first of all, for coming in and explaining to us what your proposed project is. It's always helpful when we can do these, so we can kind of get an idea more informally than we would if you were here on an application of some type. At this time, I think I'll just open it up to the commissioners for questions. If anybody wants to start us off, if anyone has any questions. I guess, did you want to start, Mr. Shafaka?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The site, do you have control of the whole site or just that lot?
2.5 acres, half the site.
And the other half is still under,
Current ownership, they have control of it. We are not involved in the other half of the site.
Okay, that was my question too.
and out of the 70 locations that you had, was there any opportunity or need to expand that footprint at all?
That's not our target, unless there is a need for additional MRI machine or a specific medical device that would be expanded to a small little 2,000 square foot bolt-on. That's not our market.
But the site plan, if you can pop up the site plan again, would allow for, I mean, the way it's situated now, you're just blocked by all the parking in the road. So it looks like you couldn't do that.
It's happened, that's an outlier. We don't expand,
Yeah.
we plan for it. Is more likely that you would take out a patient room and add a device than expand the size of the building.
Expand the building. Mr. Blackford, do we have some kind of overlay or something with parking along Hamilton at all? Or we want to put the building a little bit more closer to the street?
That's a great observation, where I'm just thinking the same thing, where the site plan, technically to meet code, that would probably be, like, I'll probably be the staff member reviewing this, since I've looked at the other stuff, that'll probably be a staff comment if this was provided, that the building needs to be closer to the road, or the parking at least needs to be to the side and rear. I think that is a code requirement in today's code, as opposed to the 2018 and 2019 projects, where it really forced it to be pushed back and gets a little bit closer to those residential lots. The code now really kind of prefers development to be towards the street a little bit more.
So Tom, just making a note of that.
Put it down.
And I think that was option 2. I liked option 2 a little bit better than option 1, because you had the little medium strip there. Since you don't have the other parcel, that's a pretty good separation on there. And the site slopes back towards the residential, Is there any thought, I mean, if we went with something like this, water detention, something like that, that'll come later in the engineering drawings, I assume?
Yes, so initial concept, there'd be water retention plan with the civil, in conjunction with the current owner, would be complementary, try to be very efficient and aesthetically pleasing, but that's further down the conversation.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry if I wandered off and you hit on this. How's your discussion with the HOA go?
Very well. We're open and honest always with all neighbors, always community, because they're our clients and we are neighbors. It's very important, especially when you're continuous property, you want to have a very open relationship with your neighbors. So we talked about our size, we talked about our traffic, we talked about our opening hours, how we are not a company that has 400 cars coming in at 8 in the morning when school comes through, lets out. We're not a business that affects that. We're not an impact there. Very open conversation about nighttime patients. They stay, but it's quiet, internal. We are not coming in and out during school hours. We're not impacting when they go to school, when the community has to go to work or come home from work. We're not a huge impact there. We're a very boutique white glove service business.
I was just going to throw this out there so being a hospital, is there, you would accept any emergency squad, anybody?
We've had, over the last 10 years, we've had one ambulance come to one of our locations. That was due to an emergency where no other facility was open and available within life-saving time, and they came to our facility, and we welcomed them. It is not our target market. It does not happen very often. There are buses that show up, but their lights are not on. They're transporting them from a different facility. It's a managed care.
Very good. Good answer. That's all I have.
Mr. Mako, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So first question, I asked this of Mr. Blackford, and I'll do it for the good of the group. What's the current zoning on this property?
It's neighborhood commercial.
And per the zoning code, this would be a conditional use, is that correct?
Yes, I believe the use falls under emergency medical uses, and that is a conditional use in neighborhood commercial. So we would see a development plan, which is really what we see right here, this kind of detail, and then we would also see a conditional use for specifically the, what we want to call this facility, yeah.
Right.
Hospital.
Okay. Just want to throw that out there for the good of the group. So questions for the applicant, just some general questions. What was the name of the umbrella company that you represent?
Welty Development,
Oh.
Welty Enterprises, or the healthcare?
The healthcare.
Nutex.
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 Nutex. Okay. And then have you had any discussions with the neighbors to the south? I believe is that a retirement community? Is that correct? Have you approached those folks? Just
We have not. They would be our target market also for facility services. We have not reached out to them. We want to reach out with HOA first, and then the city, the council, the planning commission, and then we reach out to, if this goes well, we'll reach out to them next.
okay.
As good neighbors.
Okay, because just kind of same kind of stream of thought with Mr. Chapaka. I thought that the option number 2 was kind of a better option, given the buffer that you're showing there to the south with that existing community there. I think that would be my, if this came through, I think that'd be my preference. So I'll just kind of throw that out there.
Further south, further east.
Well, no. So in this option number 2, you're showing the building a little bit more of a setback from from the property line. So I guess that would be my preference of the two. And that's just one person speaking here. And then I would also be correct to assume that if this came to us, you'd be constructing the both access points to Beecher Road and Hamilton Road at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, it's not going to be a phase type thing. Okay. And how many beds would the facility have approximately?
3 to 4 procedure rooms and a handful, less than 5 actual patient rooms where they come and check in where the doctor rotates people through.
Okay. And with your other facilities, are there a lot of overnight stays, or is that just kind of on an as needed basis?
As needed basis, In general, there are, over a given 30 days, there are multiple overnight stays, but those are for planned procedures where they have a procedure done and they're meant to stay overnight and then get released the next day.
Okay. So as you said, it's not going to be a high volume, high turnover type of facility? Okay. All right. Thank you. Those are my questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Great. Mr. Soriano.
Yes. So it's kind of funny that maybe I am the elder planning commission member that was here in 2018 when we went through this before. If I recall, I think one of the big topics of discussion was traffic on Beecher because of the lineup and access to Academy. And, we talked a lot about site intensity and what that meant for the way it was zoned and the potential that the way that the site is zoned, the intensity that could vary considerably depending on what type of development went there. So it's actually good to see something similar to what we approved. I did have a couple questions about, Mr. Mako covered a couple, but is this, generally would we consider this, maybe expand a little bit on micro-hospital, just what that means? Because is it more of like ambulatory care? I mean, you mentioned procedure rooms, you mentioned some inpatient rooms. How would we classify this?
So this is a true micro-hospital. So it would have, if you need your appendix out, you can schedule that at this location and have your appendix out and you would stay overnight and get released next day. You can have you need to have your bones reset. You have a broken bone, you get a cast and needs surgery. You have an orthopedic person actually do the surgery here, you'll get released the same day. So it's full range from orthopedics to appendix with a handful of local doctors that are doing procedures here. So we'll have some overnight stays for like a planned appendix and then a same day service for resetting a bone.
And you mentioned, 4 to 5 patient rooms?
Yes.
Okay.
3 to 4.
3 to 4,
In
okay.
this size building.
And generally, I think, the way that the building is sited and, I know the property is clear, but, generally it looks to be as we, go through, we go through final development, or, as this goes forward, it looks like it probably is right in, right out onto Hamilton Road in this case, with the remaining on Beecher. So, I mean, generally it makes a lot of sense. I do like option 2. I prefer a little bit of that buffer off of that spine that's coming in. I think it also sets up the lot to the north, with a little bit more flexibility and, potentially some buffering therein on that strip as Mr. Mako and Mr. Shapaka were noting. So, I mean, generally it looks, it makes sense. Rendering looks, like as I would expect for a micro hospital. So I don't really have any more questions or mostly comments. So
Thank you. Ms. Laser.
Thank you. They asked most of my questions, but about how many doctors and nurses or staff are there, like on a given day?
Doctors rotate through during the day,
Okay.
so they may be there for 4 hours. So on average, 8 to 10 people in the building working. Doctors may be there for a procedure, then leave, and they have another doctor comes in for the next procedure.
Okay. And I also liked option 2, for a vote. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
It gives us a good basis to start our conversation. Great.
Mr. Greenberg.
Hi there. I have a question, I guess, about the patients coming in. So what you said, it's not just a 24/7 emergency room. You can make appointments and get your surgery, but kind of strange if you have an appendix, it's more of an emergency.
It was an example of gallbladder removal.
So what happens if you were very successful, which we would hope you would be if you got approved in Gahanna, and you're getting lots of appointments, and it's turning into more than what you're saying today, which is just, hey, a pretty minimal effort or people coming in and customers. It could be a lot of customers coming in. If you're successful and you all of a sudden aren't a micro hospital anymore.
So thank you for the question. Our business model is when you enter a market, Columbus is the MSA, to have multiple locations. This is our first location in this market. We would be looking to open additional locations. That
Okay.
relieves much of your
I
question.
got you, okay. So there'd be more than one in different communities, okay. On that, are those sites behind the hospital that are still there for development? Do we know? I assume that as part of the property,
Mr. Greenberg, are you referring to?
the red boxes,
To the left?
yes,
Those are part of the residential lots of,
residential.
yeah, of Academy. So if you were to measure where their proposed building is and go to the west there or to the left of your screen to where that home is, that's
Yeah.
about 405 feet or so. So those are very deep lots that.
What's our zoning say as far as that? How close they can be?
Oh, I love using the Shops at Rocky Fork as a comparison since it's right down here and you see a fence. It's basically the same zoning, where the commercial is and the same zoning for those residential. So you're talking code is going to say 10 feet and, plant a tree every 40 feet and have a fence. And here we have, not all 400, but let's say 350 of those feet are heavily vegetated areas that communities would probably love to have this as the standard because it really mitigates the perceived incompatibilities of commercial and residential. So we basically have, about, 40 times what the code requires for separation in this case.
And as the developer talked about a fence that would be back there to separate the properties? Or have you talked to them? That's part of
So
your,
we haven't got that far.
okay,
That is, like, on the residential side is wooded, it's natural, it's also slope, water retention. We want to be very aware of any water retention or environmental issues back there. We don't want to disturb, we want to follow the rules. But we'll have conversations about mitigating views as we further down the road.
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Tomark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a lot of questions. I guess a couple comments and things that went wrong, I guess, the second time in 2019. First, I think that land behind is very sloped with a creek through it, so it's really not developable. You can kind of see the creek in the picture there. But following up on Mr. Greenberg's comment of a fence, I would say, or some plantings. The last time, I don't know what the second was, when we had 2019, there was, the residents were very concerned about what they see, what they hear, and I think that could be mitigated, possibly with some greenery, with some plantings, or, as Mr. Greenberg said, a fence. They were also concerned about noise, so you say there's no ambulances, or very few, now the picture you showed, wasn't it, there was an ambulance in it.
So medical transports don't have lights and sirens. They transport people from a senior care facility to a micro hospital and back as a medically licensed facility for somebody that needs help. It is not a full lights, sirens ambulance. It's a medical transport. One time, 10 years. All facilities. It's not a target for ambulances. There are other facilities within the community that can.
If there's a need for someone in the neighborhood for an ambulance, they're driving past you and going to Mount Carmel.
Yes.
They're not stopping at your hospital with lights and sirens.
Unless you ask them to stop specifically and you made an appointment or have a relationship, you're not stopping.
You're going past.
I'm aware there's 81 houses in that community, so it's not a substantial community.
No, but what you have there, so there's a private school back there, and this is one of the two exits from that school. So that neighborhood is very sensitive to traffic, very sensitive to that Beach Road backing up at 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning and from 3 till 4 in the evening. Hundreds of cars line up on that Beecher Road, which kind of leads to my next question is, why do you need that access to Beecher? Because if you have that main drive there, there's no medium, there's no light, there's no stop sign. Well, you'll have a stop sign, but people coming out of your facility should be able to go both ways on Hamilton Road. So to go north on Hamilton Road, will they be able to go out, which looks like the double wide there right to the north of your property, or are they gonna have to go over to Beecher?
So it is right in, right out on Hamilton.
It's only gonna be right in, right out.
There's a median.
Yeah, there's a,
There's a medium or there's a fifth, there's a medium or a fifth lane?
No, median.
There's a medium, okay. So you have to come in.
so first, the fence. And your point, we talked a good amount with the HOA and listened, and during the winter, if this moves forward and gets welcomed by the community and welcomed by the planning commission, we would actually go out there in the winter and see what it looks like with the leaves off, because she shared very openly that you can't see this property when it's summer. Leaves are on, it's green, but in the winter you can. I'm like, okay, let's get pictures and listen, and you need to do the right thing for the community because you're neighbors long-term. There is a lot of slope right back there, so a fence might be more difficult than shrubbery or some type of landscaping to treat it appropriately for the winter months, not just for the whole cycle of this environment. For the access, we talk a good amount about traffic. Because we are not a high retail, sell a lot of coffee at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning with hundreds of cars. We're not selling chicken sandwiches. We're boutique during the day, not at 4 o'clock when everybody's leaving after sports practice. We're not creating hundreds of cars. That's not our market. That's not our goal. It just doesn't fit our business model.
Okay. Last question would be, I assume your building will be lit 360 degrees. You have lights on all sides.
So
But
we tend to design buildings to try to be green, energy efficient, so light pollution would be very important to us, specifically heading towards the residential area, not polluting their bedroom windows. So we're going to take that into account, but it will be lit nicely, it will be aesthetically pleasing, because it is open 24 hours. So it needs to be safe, welcoming environment without polluting our neighbors' windows, including the senior care facility.
I think our code also deals with lights and light leaving the property, so that's something for the architects. Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. I just have a comment, I guess. To me, this kind of seems, well, a couple comments, but to me, this kind of seems almost like it's kind of an urgent care with like a little bit extra. Is that,
So it is a true micro-hospital. So
Okay.
urgent cares don't provide the level of service we have. Gallbladder removal,
okay,
missing finger can't be fixed by a urgent care.
this is like an actual hospital?
Yes.
Okay, what's word urgent care is not necessarily a hospital, okay. And I assume you've done your market research to determine that this is something that would fulfill some kind of a need in the
Yes.
community? Okay,
I've wanted to be in this community for years.
okay, that's great. I mean, I love this community too, so happy to hear that. One of the things that I know is important to me as a planning commissioner is balancing the need for development, obviously, versus the concerns of residential homeowners that are nearby. You know, when residents, homeowners or whomever hear about projects like this, they hear hospital, they think, oh, there's going to be sirens, there's going to be lights, there's going to be, you know, all sorts of things that are going to be disruptive. And I guess what I would just say is that I think that you're going to need to make sure that whatever you do, that you do involve their input. You know, whether it be just the screening, you know, the fencing or whatever, or whatever else kind of you could work to meet everybody's needs. I think that's going to be really important to do that, especially if you're coming back here for additional applications and the public is allowed to come and speak and probably will. You know, one of the questions I know I would ask is, what did you do to speak to the homeowners? Or what did you do to talk to the residents about their concerns? And I know, for me personally, if someone said, oh, I haven't done that, I mean, to me, that's not a good look. So I would just, my main comment would just be to make sure as you proceed, I love that you've already spoken to the HOA, you know, just consider the rights of people who live there.
So thank you for that. And We've actually been in communication again, as recently as this morning. They have a meeting in 4 days, and I said, once I hear the feedback from the planning commission, if it is welcomed in the city, I'll be happy to come meet with you and we can talk about the project with the HOA in their meeting. But I wanted to hear from you first. If it's welcomed, if it's a positive experience, I'm happy to meet with the HOA. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think based on what you've presented tonight, I mean, the project itself sounds like it could be a good fit. Obviously, I would need to see more, you know, specifics, but, you know, I think just taking into account what some of the comments tonight that we've said, you know, as you move forward, and then, you know, see where that goes. So, does anybody else have any? Yes,
I have one.
Mr. Greenberg.
One additional question. So we've talked about, hey, it's for procedures and you're going to be able to do that. I'm feeling terrible. I've got a really bad cold, maybe pneumonia. Can I just stop in and see a doctor at 2 in the morning because you'd provide that service?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mako and then Mr. Chapaka.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One additional question, and I'm not going to hold you to this, but do you have a timeframe for feedback and then submitting something, formal application?
Based on the feeling I'm getting from this committee, we would move forward with our purchase agreement, closing on the land. Within 4 months, we'd be going through our planning commission, design, permitting process. By the end of the year, by spring, I want to be in the ground.
Okay. Fair enough. I was just wondering just, you know, just how advanced you were in your plans.
Yes,
So,
so we have a template, the same, it's a business model we repeat over and over in different cities. So we take the same rectangle and put different skins on it to make it look aesthetically pleasing to match the city. So it is a very efficient process for us.
okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
We
Thank you,
have a
Madam
few
Chair.
more minutes. Mr. Chapaka, go ahead.
Thank you. Micro hospital again. So you don't have, your yearly checkups not there, you don't have a doctor, that he's not working out of there, you're coming in and doing your routine stuff.
That's not our target market,
That is- Okay,
not our target market.
so I'm still having the number, because I'm used to having hospitals and having beds upstairs, you know, floors and floors of beds, and you're not proposing that at all. Everything's down low. So the micro, is it, just kind of interested to see how this all plans out.
Rotating, doctors are there for a handful of hours, do procedures. The patient stays. The business model is to rotate them through, you know, one a day, and they rotate through, do a procedure, doctor comes and goes, they can go work at a different hospital and do other things. This is not their only operating place, and is a very efficient, lower overhead business model.
Very interesting. Thank you. So, Madam Chair.
Anybody else have any last questions? Okay. Well, thank you again for coming tonight and presenting us with this project and providing us with very good information. And,
Thank you for your time.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adjourned. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is Planning Commission, Wednesday, August 12th, 2026, 6:30 PM. Everybody please stand, and Ms. Laser is going to lead us in the pledge. All right. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Greenberg.
Here.
Laser.
Here.
Mako.
Here.
Pollyea.
Here.
Chapaca.
Here.
Soriano.
Here.
Tamarkin.
Here.
Okay, do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, moving on to approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th, 2026?
So move to
Anyone?
Markin.
And a second?
Second, Soriano.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Tamarkin, seconded by Mr. Soriano. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tamarkin.
Yes.
Soriano.
Yes.
Laser.
Yes.
Mako.
Yes.
Pollyea.
Yes.
Chapaca.
Yes.
Greenberg.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to the swearing in of applicants and speakers. And I will turn it over to Mr. Roth to swear in the applicants who are here to speak tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are now at the public hearing portion of the meeting. The public hearing will operate as follows. Administrative staff will make a presentation or comment on the application. The applicant or their representative may then make a presentation or comment on the application. The applicant has 10 minutes to present, and additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. Public comment will then be open for 3 minutes allowed per speaker. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. Speakers must complete a speaker slip and come to the podium and state their name and address. The applicant will then be given 10 minutes to comment. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. If there is more than one application pending for a particular address, the presentation on each application may be consolidated and presented as one. At this time, will persons wishing to present testimony this evening please rise and raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, state I do. Thank you.
We'll move on to the application public comment portion of the meeting tonight, and we'll start with our first variance on the agenda, which is V-0014-2026, to consider a variance application to vary section 1103.06E of the codified ordinances of the city of Gahanna for breezeway setback for property located at 258 James Road, parcel ID 025-000868, current zoning ER Estate Residential, Christina Ramirez applicant. And we will begin by opening it up to the administration for a presentation, please.
The first application of the night is a variance at 258 James Road. Here on the zoning map, you can see the location of the site underneath the red star. It is on the east side of James Road and is zoned estate residential, which is our largest residential zoning district. The applicant's requesting approval of a variance to allow a breezeway within a side yard setback. The breezeway addition is 195 square feet and would connect the existing house to the existing detached garage. For all properties zoned ER, there's a 20-foot side yard setback for principal structures, which also applies to additions. In this case, the breezeway is only 13 feet 4 inches from the northern side property line, which is why a variance has been requested. The existing house and garage are also 13 feet 4 inches from the north side property line. Here's a site plan that was submitted by the applicant. You can see that the site is pretty large, but the house and garage are located closer to James Road. They're both 13 feet 4 inches from that northern property line. And just below that red arrow is where the breezeway would be located. And then here's an aerial view of what the site looks like today. That red box is the approximate location of the breezeway. And then here's a street view from a couple of years ago where you can see the existing house and then the existing garage right behind it. One of the main reasons this location was chosen for the breezeway was because of the existing door on the garage. Then here are some elevations. The one on top shows what the house and garage look like today from the north. And then on the bottom, outlined in red, is the approximate location of the addition. You can see it does not exceed the height of the garage or the house. So there's one variance included with this application. It's for Chapter 1103.06E, which states that the side yard setback for principal structures is 20 feet. And as mentioned, the proposed breezeway is only 13 feet 4 inches from the north side property line. This is the standard variance criteria that must be met in order for the application to be approved. And staff recommends approval of the variance request as submitted. As mentioned, the addition is the same distance from the property line as the existing house and garage, both of which were constructed in the 1960s. And the addition is relatively small and will replace an existing paved sidewalk that's currently in the same location. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now open public comment. Would the applicant like to speak? Ma'am, are you the applicant? Yes. Oh, and you would not like to speak? I'm just, no, you don't have to, I'm just asking.
No, I mean, she presented everything.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to comment? Okay. I guess I will now close public comment. Are there any questions from the commission? Mr. Chapaka?
Yes, Madam Chair, we're going to bring her up anyway, so come on down.
All right. I was going to say, you may not get away that easily, but.
I was trying to.
Why don't you go ahead and state your name and relationship to the project?
Christina Ramirez, I am the property owner.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Chapaka.
Thank you. Breezeway, so is this open or is this an actual enclosed structure?
Enclosed.
It will be enclosed?
Yes.
And the materials are going to match everything with the house, kind of a deal?
Yeah.
Why
I
now?
just don't want to go to the exercise area in the winter when it's cold.
So that's your reasoning is just to get to the garage without going out into the weather?
Yeah.
We got that on record now, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Mako.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple questions for the administration. Based upon your knowledge, when the house and the breezeway were constructed, are you pretty certain that they were in conformance with the zoning code at the time? Sorry.
I don't think I can answer that with confidence. I'd assume so. I think our zoning code was established in what, the 50s? 58. Yeah, so there was a code in place. I'm assuming it met the zoning code if it was in the city at the time.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And would it also be correct to assume that, based upon the presentation, what's out there, that both the house and the existing house and the existing garage are existing non-conforming structures?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to get that clarification. That's all the questions I had. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Soriano?
I have no questions. Seems pretty straightforward.
All right. Ms. Laser?
I have no questions as well.
Mr. Greenberg?
No questions.
Mr. Tamar?
No questions.
All right, I also do not have any questions tonight. So we will move on. Do we have a motion to approve V-0014-2026?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve V-0014-2026 to consider a variance application for real estate at 258 James Road.
Do we have a second?
Second, Tamarkin?
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Greenberg, seconded by Mr. Tamarkin. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Chapaka? Mr. Mako?
No comments.
Mr. Soriano?
I'll be in support of the variance for reasons staff outlined, the alignment with the house, and it makes a lot of sense, so.
Okay. Ms. Laser?
No comment.
Mr. Greenberg?
No comments.
Mr. Tamarkin?
Comment.
I also don't have any comments tonight. So, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Greenberg,
Yes.
Tamarkin,
Yes.
Mako,
Yes.
Polly,
Yes.
Chapaka,
Yes.
Soriano,
Yes.
Laser.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Okay, moving on in our agenda, the next variance application of the night is V-0015-2026, to consider a variance application to vary section 1103.07E, large lot residential of the codified ordinances of the city of Gahanna to reduce required frontage for property located at 360 Carpenter Road, parcel ID 025-002216, current zoning R1, large lot residential. I apologize if I don't pronounce this correctly, Mohamed Zamara applicant. We'll start with the administration. You can have a seat, sir. We'll have the administration do a presentation first, and then you'll be asked to come up and speak. Would the administration like to give a presentation?
The second application is a variance at 360 Carpenter Road. Here in the zoning map, it's also underneath the red star, and it's zoned large lot residential. And for some more context, here's an aerial of the site. The existing lot is a flag lot with about 27.5 feet of frontage on Carpenter Road, and the existing house is located in the back half of the lot. There's a bit of history on the site as well. In March of this year, Planning Commission denied a variance request for a lot split that created a new lot that had zero frontage on a public right-of-way. At that time, the proposed lot size for the smaller lot associated with the variance was around 0.52 acres. This variance application was denied due to concerns that a future house constructed on the lot would be too close to some of the neighboring properties. Based on this feedback, the applicant increased the proposed lot sign to address the concerns from the commission and neighbors. So same as before, the applicant's requesting approval of a variance for a lot with zero frontage on a public right-of-way. The zoning code states that all properties zoned R1 must have 100 feet of frontage on a public right-of-way. After the proposed lot split, it would create a new parcel that has no frontage. This parcel would have shared access from the existing driveway. And the existing parcel is a flag lot that only has 27.5 feet of frontage, so it's already non-conforming with the zoning code. After the lot split, the proposed parcels would be 1.46 acres to the north and 0.72 acres to the south. So the proposed smaller parcel is 0.2 acres larger than previously, and it's 39.5 feet wider. The applicant also submitted a shared access agreement for the existing driveway, and the existing house still meets all zoning code requirements, including setbacks after the lot split. If this variance application is approved, the next step for the applicant would be to submit a subdivision without plat or lot split application, which would then be reviewed administratively by staff. Here are two site plans. The one on the left is what was proposed in March 2026. Then the one on the right is what's proposed with today's application. So you can see the one on the right is substantially wider than the one on the left, and it still meets the minimum lot size requirement for R1. And the only variance required is for the lack of frontage. If this parcel were located on a public right-of-way, it would be wide enough to meet the frontage requirement. So there's one variance included with this application to Chapter 1103.07E, which states that all properties zoned R1 must have 100 feet of frontage on a right-of-way, and after the lot split, the new southern parcel would have 0 feet of frontage. Once again, here's the standard variance criteria. And staff recommends approval of the variance as submitted. A shared access agreement has already been obtained and submitted with this application. The engineering department reviewed the agreement as well as the variance application itself and had no objections to either. The applicant also revised the previous variance application to address some of the concerns from Planning Commission and the neighbors. And one final thing to note is that the variance that's requested today only relates to the zero lot frontage on the lot, not the lot size or any future construction on the site. As mentioned, the new lot does meet the minimum lot size requirement for R1, and any future houses or other structures constructed on the lot would have to meet all of our setback requirements. So for a principal structure or house, that would be 35 feet from the front property line, 15 feet from both of the side property lines, and 25 feet from the rear property line. And that would be reviewed administratively through a building permit. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now open public comment. Would the applicant like to speak? No? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to comment? Please approach. Did you fill out a speaker slip, sir? Okay, great. Just make sure you give it to the clerk before you leave. You're going to have 3 minutes to speak, and if you could just state your name and address, we will keep time.
All right, thank you. My name is Mike Welty, and I live at 350 Carpenter Road. So if you look at the diagram, it's the property that's on the left-hand side. So I'm going to read something I put together. So my family and I moved here, my wife and I moved here in 2021, and we chose Carpenter Road because we value space, privacy, lower density, and traditional homes with clear street frontage. That is the established character of our street. What's being proposed here just doesn't fit our neighborhood. It squeezes extra density onto a single parcel and changes the layout pattern that everyone else has maintained. Beyond the layout, we also have serious concerns about water management. Drainage is already an issue in this immediate area, and squeezing another structure onto this lot, which would require removing mature trees, is only going to make that runoff significantly worse for neighboring properties. One thing that's not clear from these satellite images is that from where the original house is up in the top of that picture to where my house is a hill that's about 20 feet down. And so to put this house, this second house in, would require undoubtedly removing some very, very large mature trees that are on this property. At the end of the day, splitting this lot directly impacts the surrounding neighbors. It takes away our privacy, it disrupts the open feel of the area and worsens our drainage and creates a crowded setup that lowers the overall appeal and marketability of our surrounding homes. If this variance is approved, the applicant gets all the financial upside, but the surrounding homeowners are ones left paying the price. We are the ones who have to live with the permanent loss of privacy and the added density, the water runoff, and the negative impact on our home values. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Did you fill out a speaker slip, sir? Okay, great. Again, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Just before you start, state your name and address.
Okay, I'm Larry Rumsey. I'm at 340 Carpenter Road, so I'm to the west of this property that wants to be varied. I guess that's the term. Anyway, it's nice that he's increasing the size to make that property larger, but now it would encroach on me even more because the original drawing may have only been a third of my home, and now it'll encompass the whole width of my home. So that property will encompass my home, not my property, just the building itself. So any privacy or anything I had with quiet at that time is going to be, could be gone. Not is, it could be gone. And then the bigger problem is, as Mike said, the water and the runoff and the change. I mean, this isn't a neighborhood. This isn't Gahanna Heights or anything like that. I think almost every property on Carpenter Road is an acre plus. And now you're going to have a smaller one. This one could be quite close to an acre, but there's only one other flag lot, and probably 30 years ago, a neighbor down the street that I knew tried to do a flag lot, and the city didn't approve that because they didn't want 2 more homes and they didn't want flag lots. I think it might have been engineering and emergency services and all those good things that come in play. But in any event, I feel for the 2 people out front, Mike and Lee. Their properties would be more subject to this than anybody because they bought their home, they're new to the neighborhood, and they bought their homes with green space behind them, and now there could be a house sitting there. But for me, it's the privacy. You're changing the layout of the land, the neighborhood. I mean, it was very, very rural on Carpenter Road. And that's the beauty of Carpenter Road. You just don't have that too many places in Gahanna. And I guess that means my vote's no. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other speakers tonight? Again, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes to speak, and
Hi.
please state your name and address.
I'm Sue Van Karen, and I live across the street at 341 Carpenter, across from the Welties. My biggest concern is if there's any excavation done to the land to build a new structure, the water is going to be a problem. In the past, there have been a few times where the water in front of Mr. Lee's and the Welties' house has crested Carpenter Road, and it comes right from my front door. So that is my biggest concern about what they're going to do about the water. And that's, I mean, that's all I really have to say.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else from the public like to speak? Again, as a reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Oh, I don't need much. Russ Funk, 352 Carpenter. I actually don't have as much to say as these people do because they get a lot of flooding down front. My house sits next to him, and so I only get it at the edge of my driveway. That's not a big deal. I'm just not real thrilled about having another large house. This is a very large house, a big family home. And if we do another big family home, that means my backyard and my privacy is now kicked to the curb. And that's my probably #1 concern. As far as the house, I think he's done a great job. And I think he should probably just leave it as is. And it's a great piece of property. Sell it to somebody to make it happen, you know? That's all, not much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, would the applicant like to reply to any of the public speakers? You have 10 minutes, sir.
Yes. My name is Mohanna Zamara. I live in 4560 Carrington Way, Hilliard, Ohio. I am the owner of a 360 Carpenter Road. This variance have been submitted before, and I listened to my neighbors' concerns and about the new project, and I took suggestions from the committee that if I enlarge the lot and will give the neighbors more privacy and will fit a house appropriately to better use of the land there. I have done a lot in this property. The property is 2.21 acres. And I have been working for 2 weeks, removing dead trees and vegetations and poison ivy from it. And I think splitting the lot in 2 properties, in 2 lots, this large lot in 2 lots, will better maintain the property because you're splitting the burden into 2 families to take care of their houses. Also, I am going to widen the driveway from it's about 10 feet now to 22 feet wide. The shared access agreement, I established a shared access agreement. And also, we're gonna put almost a 3,000 square foot house, 2-story house, and I don't think the property is too large to invade anybody's privacy. It's too far from. There is a lot of trees, and it's far from everybody, all the neighbors. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If you want to stay up at the podium, I'm sure we'll have some questions.
Sure.
But before I do that, we will now close public comment, and now we'll open it up for questions. Mr. Shapaka, why don't you get us started?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maddie and Mr. Blackford, setbacks, setbacks, and setbacks. So you have, our side yard setback for this property is 15 feet. Just listening to the neighbors' concerns, could the variance, or if this goes in a certain direction, when does a discussion on changing the setbacks or requesting, instead of having a side yard setback of 15 feet, we would say it has to be 50 feet?
You could add a condition of approval on the variance to modify any of the setbacks if desired.
Okay, so that would also include, since this is the front, and coming off of the drive 25 feet, because the house above it is actually coming across the east property line, now we're coming 25 feet off of the drive line, so the building goes back. So that would be a conditional also, that if we wanted to drop that down to 15 feet, per se, we could make that a condition of the variance.
Correct.
Good. Thank you for coming before us again. I know you're pretty passionate about getting another lot in there, and you understood what the neighbors were asking for, and I think the accommodations of the size of the house and then these possible setbacks limits to really kind of lock you in where that house can go, because that would help overall painted picture of what we're gonna do with, you envision the lot to be. Because right now, I mean, I'm looking at that big open space, I can push that all the way to the west, and as you hear the comments, a lot of the issues come into play with the neighbors. Well, my big thing was getting clarifications on the setback. Thank you. Another comment?
Mr. Mako.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Few questions. First off, for the administration, what is the minimum lot size for an R1 zoning code, in the R1 zoning code?
I believe it's 20,000 square feet. Yeah, 20,000.
Okay, and we're at 31 with this proposed lot.
Correct.
Okay. Second question, has the planning commission ever approved a lot split with zero frontage?
No, only for lot splits with reduced frontage.
I think maybe in Maddie's time here, which is maybe like 3 years, that's probably accurate, but I'm getting a fuzzy memory of 1 or 2 zero frontage lot splits. I can't say for certain, but I'm thinking that maybe in like 2016, 2017, something like that, there may have been 1 or 2, and I want to say James Road for some reason. There may have been something along that nature on James Road, but I could be mistaken.
Fair enough. I guess the concern is that if we approve this, or we send a precedence for creating zero frontage lots. So I just want to know if there was a history or not of something like this coming before us.
Not that I'm aware of, maybe.
Okay, fair enough. And then for the applicant, I noticed that you have an access agreement. Do you have a maintenance agreement proposed? Because I think access is one thing, which obviously you're going to be, if this gets approved, you're going to be encroaching on potentially another person's property. But what about the long-term maintenance of the driveway?
We will draw an access and maintenance agreement for long term between the two properties because we're improving the width of the shared access from 10 feet to 22 feet and improving the apron to Carpenter Road. We also dedicated 10 feet right of way to the city. I don't know if this has been noticed, and this variance and the new variance.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. No other further questions?
Mr. Soriano.
I guess one question, one's more logistical, on the shared access. What is the general idea as these properties are being owned by if these properties are owned by 2 different people, how does like snow removal work? Like what, I mean, I'm just thinking of like practical things that a shared access would necessitate. How does that work?
I am not sure, but I would think we will draw in the deed like this has to be maintained. And the 2 neighbors will have to share the responsibilities and for maintenance of the shared access, as far as pavement, snow removal, and everything else.
In terms of a variance, we typically, one of the criteria for a variance is hardship or practical difficulty. Like if the lot is in a flood zone, so someone needs to move their shed to a different location that's in a setback because as an example. But what would be what is the hardship or practical difficulty? Is this lot already is zoned, it's zoned residential, it's used as residential property? What's the practical difficulty on the site other than just a want to divide it?
The difficulty is the access to that. We do not have 100 feet on Carpenter Road. But the new lot will have 139 139 foot and 139, almost 140 foot on the shared access frontage.
Ms. Laser?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Mr. Greenberg?
Where does the driveway turn into the smaller lot? It's not on the drawing. I don't think.
Driveway, it's to the right of the drawing.
Just to the right, you're just, is it going to be at the beginning of the lot, middle of the lot, back of the lot?
From the right from Carpenter Road all the way to the end of the north line, red line.
So does it go onto that lot?
Past the proposed lot to the existing house.
Right, I see the existing house, but the lot to the south, or I don't know if that's the direction, I believe so. Where does it turn in to the smaller lot?
We'll have like the smaller lot will have 140 foot in the shared access.
Okay. Several of the neighbors have brought up the issue of drainage on the property and how it affects how they perceive it affecting their property. Is there any plan to deal with drainage from your property to make sure that there's
For
no
sure,
impact to their property?
For sure, we will comply with the city guidelines and rules when it comes to drainage, and we make sure nobody will be hurt of my neighbors.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Mr. Tomarkin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd actually like to follow up on Mr. Greenberg's last comment here for the administration. Drainage is not our purview here at Planning Commission, but I assume to get the permits, the city would require that the water management, the drainage is in compliance, it would have no damage to any of the neighbors.
So, you know, the difference between residential and commercial is that on a commercial project, you're used to seeing a little bit more of a, you know, development plan with all those, you know, pertinences for the building and that, including drainage and things like that. With residential, you know, that's not a public hearing kind of permit, and so we're less familiar with how residential permitting gets done. There is a review for drainage and that on the initial permitting, and there's also a final grade inspection to make sure that it was developed in accordance with that permit. So there's the paper world side of it, where yes, it gets reviewed by our engineering team and they implemented those rules and regulations for drainage, and then there's also supposed to be an inspection prior to any occupancy of the structure to make sure that was done correctly. So it's basically the same level of review that the commercial site gets for drainage and such.
So fair to say that the neighbors will be in no detrimental shape compared to where they are today, hopefully an improvement.
Well, to your point, that's the requirements. It's either, you know, you have to improve it or you can't increase. And that's the big difference between development today and, say, development from 50 years ago. And that might be the biggest difference is those drainage requirements and that. And so, yes, they can't create a negative impact. They have to keep it as is, not increase any type of runoff or make it better, to your point.
Thank you. For the applicant, you're talking about widening the driveway from 10 feet to 20 feet, all the way to Carpenter Road?
Yes.
So on Carpenter Road, right now, you only have a 27-foot access. Code calls for 100. Somewhere along the way, this lot was created with a 27-foot access point, whether that was approved or not approved. I guess now it's grandfathered in. So now you're going to have a 20-foot of pavement there out of 27 feet.
22 out of 27, correct.
22 or 20 of the 27?
22.
22 of the 27 will be
Will be
paved.
pavement.
And your reason for going to 22 feet is so that two cars can pass
Yes, safely.
Safely, without driving on the grass.
Exactly.
Okay, Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. I have a question. I wanted to follow up on something that Mr. Soriano asked, which is, I just kind of want to get into more of the hardship angle. I understand, that why you want to put another house on that lot, why you want to split the lot to put another house in there, but what is the hardship as to why this needs to happen?
Why is the variance?
Yeah, I mean, like Mr. Soriano said, one of the criteria to grant a variance is you have to show a hardship as to why, why you're asking for this, essentially, that nothing else that you could do would achieve the goal of wanting to, I'm not speaking very well right now. I don't know if we could put the variance criteria back up.
Can I?
Yeah,
can I
please.
rephrase? The property's already used residentially, right? So it already supports the use of a single, it already supports its use. So what is the demonstrable, like practical, difficult, like the reduction or the creating the new parcel doesn't solve a problem of that a hardship is presenting, right? It's just subdividing the property so that you could put another house on.
I guess that's, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the gist of my question is the only reason that you're wanting to do this is because you want to put another house in and then sell that house?
I could retain it or sell it, but.
I'm sorry?
I could retain it or sell it, but for sure it's going to be a residential, single-family home. It's not going to be an apartment. It's not going to be a condominium. It's not going to be commercial. It is going to lie within the city code and respect the neighbors and their privacy. And I believe the size of the lot will allow us to put a very beautiful house, 2-story, 3,000 square foot, without having any bad effect on the neighbors. It will sit just right there.
The house that's already there, is that house completed?
Correct, yes.
Is it for sale? Is it,
Not yet.
is that your plan to sell, or what is your plan?
Yes.
And the other house too, you said you would either sell it or retain it?
Or retain it, but for sure it's going to stay a single family
When
home.
you say retain it, do you mean,
keep
like
it.
keep it as investment property?
Or live in it. That's an
Sorry?
option. All options are open, so I cannot give you a definite answer now. So
Okay.
it could be for sale, but for sure it's going to stay a single family home.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I don't have any more questions. Does anybody else have any additional questions? Okay. Then you can sit down, sir, if you'd like. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve V-0015-2026?
Madam Chair, I make a motion for approval of V-0015-2026 lot split at not a lot split, but a variance for frontage at 360 Carpenter Road.
Is there a second?
Second, Mako.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Tamarkin, seconded by Mr. Mako. We'll move forward with discussion on the motion. Mr. Chapaka?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When this came across us before, I was a no vote. I do appreciate the response to that, but the variance is asking not for an additional kind of a lot, it's the zero frontage that I had an issue with before, and I don't see how, if the lot getting larger is going to accommodate that, if somewhere along the line that we came back with some setback limits to kind of help kind of satisfy some requirements, still does not meet a variance for a setback. It just can't be met. The flag parcel, wherever it came into play, whether it was a property sold to the east, however that was generated, just does not fit the rest of the properties on Carpenter Road. It seems like an anomaly. And adding another lot on there as a variance and a hardship, which was brought up, I just cannot support it. Thank you.
Mr. Mako.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Unfortunately, I was not here back in March when this first came before us. But I did watch the Planning Commission meeting that night. So I do get a sense of just the thoughts at the time. But now that I am here, I also am going to be a no vote on this. I think my one question about setting precedents, I think is relevant here. And then I would also agree that I don't see a hardship. This is, and unfortunately, the road frontage has probably been chewed up over time, and what we have left over is what we have left over. And unfortunately, the person who bought this property, this is what you have, because that frontage has been taken over, throughout the years, and this is what you're left with. And so this is really just, again, the end result of what's happened over the years. So, I totally empathize with the current property owner, but again, I just don't see the hardship, and I don't think that it's a good idea to have zero lot frontage. I just do not. So I'm going to be a no vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Soriano.
I just wanted to, say I appreciate the adjustments made to the size and some of the commentary from last time. I tend to agree with Mr. Shapaka and Mr. Mako. I don't think a hardship has been kind of demonstrated of how the property can't be economically viable beyond what it is today, or why that hardship would require a variance. I have probably the most concern about the shared access if it changes ownership and how that works, even with an agreement in place, enforcement of that, and then how that's enforced, I think becomes problematic and creates kind of a long-term issue, in addition to the zero frontage precedent. So I'm not going to be in favor.
Ms. Laser.
Thank you. I also had an issue in March about the zero frontage, and when I revisited this, looking through it, I can't get past, we have, we shall, before granting a variance, it's the number one option here. The variance is not likely to result in substantial change to the essential character of the neighborhood. I think it will. I think it will change the neighborhood. That's a beautiful part of Gahanna, and I agree with what you said. The established character of that neighborhood is unique to Gahanna, and I like those parts of Gahanna to stay, and I appreciate that you tried to change the lot and to make it bigger, but it doesn't change the fact that you're still dividing up the lots, and it will change the character. So I will also be a no vote. Thank you.
Mr. Greenberg.
I agree with the sentiments of my fellow commissioners have already stated, so I will also be a no vote.
Mr. Tamarkin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did vote yes last time, and I will again today. I feel a property owner does have some rights on his properties. This is a very large parcel. No one will know. If we go back into the archives, if at one point this was one big lot with 100 foot of frontage and two houses were added up front and split off at some point in time, or whether when this was originally platted, if it was platted as a flag lot. That's never been confirmed in testimony. But I do feel that a property owner has some rights, and as long as those rights are within building codes with water management, setbacks, I feel the owner should have a right to do something with his property.
And my comments are, I do appreciate making the changes that were suggested, going back and refiguring the property, but I don't think the variance criteria was met, so I will also be a no vote tonight. Are there any additional comments before we call the roll? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Tamarkin.
Yes.
Mako.
No.
Greenberg.
No.
Laser.
No.
Pollyant.
No.
Shapaka.
No.
Soriano.
No.
Motion fails. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Our next project of the night is Gahanna Flex Park. Here, there's a variance application as well as a development plan, and we'll consider both of them together. So I'll read them both into the record. V-0016-2026, to consider a variance application to vary sections 1109.01A14, parking, access, and circulation, and 1109-04C, buffers and screening of the codified ordinances of the City of Gahanna for property located on Eastgate Parkway, parcel ID 025-006522, current zoning IM, Innovation and Manufacturing, Gahanna Flex Park, Leland Vogel applicant. Second is DP-0005-2026, to consider a development plan for property located at Eastgate Parkway, parcel ID 025-006522, current zoning IM, Innovation and Manufacturing, Gahanna Flex Park, Leland Vogel applicants. And we will start with the administration for a presentation.
These last two applications are for an undeveloped property on Eastgate Parkway. It's zoned Innovation and Manufacturing and located on the east side of the road, kind of around the bend that you see in the zoning map. The applicant's requesting approval of a major development plan and variance for 3 flex/light industrial buildings on an undeveloped 4-acre site. All 3 of the proposed buildings are 12,000 square feet and nearly identical, both on the inside and the outside. Each building has 8 tenant spaces at 1,500 square feet, and each tenant space has 1 overhead door and 1 regular door with a canopy. The primary exterior building materials are gray and white metal panels. Metal paneling is only permitted as an exterior material in IM, so it is allowed in this case. The zoning code requires a total of 8 parking spaces, and 49 are provided to meet parking needs on the site. There are 2 variance requests related to parking. One is for 1 parking space that's partially to the front of a building, and the other variance request is for a drive aisle that's within the 10-foot side yard parking setback. There's also 12,000 square feet of outdoor storage proposed at the very rear of the site behind all 3 buildings. And this storage area meets all code requirements and would be screened by a 10-foot tall chain link fence with a black privacy screen. So here's the landscape plan. The zoning code requires 2,044 square feet of parking lot landscaping, and 4,879 square feet is provided. The code also requires 21 trees to be planted in and around the parking areas, and only 7 are provided in this case. And a variance has been requested to this requirement. The applicant states that there isn't enough room in and around the parking area for all 21 trees. Although preserved trees don't count towards parking tree requirements, they are preserving 772 caliber inches of existing trees. The zoning code also requires a 10-foot buffer, 6-foot high continuous screen, and 1 tree per 40 feet between the site and the railroad. The 10-foot buffer requirement is met, and a variance has been requested for the other 2 requirements. The buffering requirement for the railroad is elevated more than 6 feet above the site, so the applicant states that adding a 6-foot high screen would be ineffective in screening anything. And there are also some existing mature trees between the site and the railroad. Here's a site plan. All 3 of the buildings are outlined in yellow, and they're in the middle of the site. On the right-hand side, that purple box is the location of the outdoor storage area. You can also see a detention basin to the south, which is part of the reason why there's limited area to plant trees around the parking lot. Here's a zoomed-in site plan. The red line to the north indicates the 10-foot side yard parking setback. So you can see on the right-hand side where the drive aisle encroaches into that a little bit. And then the red line on the left-hand side, that's the front parking setback. And there's a parking space just to the right of the dumpster on the bottom left-hand corner of the site that encroaches by a couple feet. And then here's what the site looks like today undeveloped. You can see that it is a very irregular shape and narrow, which has made it more difficult to develop while still meeting code requirements. And then you can also see the railroad to the south and all of the existing trees and other plants between the railroad and the site. Here are elevations. Since the buildings are all very similar on the outside, these elevations apply to all three of the buildings. On the top are the north and south elevations. These are the sides that would face the parking areas for easy access to the overhead doors. And then you have the east and west elevations. These are the elevations that would be in between the buildings. And then on the bottom, those are other east and west elevations. These would be the front of the building. And this is what would face Eastgate Parkway. There's 3 variances requested here. Actually, there's 4 variances. I just realized I forgot to put one in here. So that might need to be fixed. The first is for Chapter 1109-01A, which states parking areas cannot extend past the front facade of the primary building. And as shown on the site plan, a portion of one parking space extends past the front facade. The next states that parking areas must be at least 10 feet from the side and rear property lines. And a portion of the drive aisle is only 6 feet and 11 inches from the north side property line. And then there must be a 10-foot wide buffer, continuous 6-foot high screen, and 1 tree per 40 linear feet. There is a 10-foot buffer, but no screen or additional landscaping. And then the one variance that I missed is for the requirement that there needs to be 21 parking area trees, and there's only 7 proposed. And then here's the standard variance criteria again. And staff recommends approval of all 4 variances as submitted. The parking setback variances are minor and necessary due to site constraints. As shown, the lot is a very unique triangle shape, and it's also very narrow, which makes it difficult to meet some of the parking requirements. There's also already some existing landscaping adjacent to the railroad, and the railroad's elevated higher than the required 6-foot high screen, which makes any additional screening ineffective. And Michael just checked, there's only 3 variances listed on the application page, so we're probably gonna have to add the 4th one when it comes to voting. Not sure how that works, Sophia, but
Do we amend
my
the
bad.
application, or do we amend the,
Is that something that we can do?
They only applied for 3, but they would need 4?
There were 4 in their application. I only put 3 on the application page.
Okay.
So
they
I
have-
missed one on accident.
They have applied for all 4,
Correct.
but what is submitted here tonight is 3 of the 4.
Yes, if you go through their variance application, they have all 4 listed out. Just on the front page, I only put 3.
Okay. I don't know what would be the best way to handle that.
You're it.
I don't think we've ever encountered this before.
It's been a while since that happened.
Okay.
And my 2 cents is, not that anyone wants to hear this, but for abundance of caution, typically, if we miss it, the staff review had it, their application had it, the front page of the application, we only have 3 of them on there. I believe that's what Sophia uses for her advertisements. If the advertisements or notices include those specific references, I would say that we're probably best exercising caution and continuing it, re-advertising it, and coming back in September.
I was just gonna say, can we table it, or I don't know what the proper terminology is, and then have it noticed up for the next meeting? Is that?
I don't know, I think that, would that be a preference of the applicant, maybe? I don't.
The only problem is, I think like what Mr. Blackford said, for abundance of caution,
Yeah,
that
if it
additional
hasn't been
variance.
advertised, I don't think there's any
Correct.
way we can hear it
The
tonight.
last one can be voted on without that
The
public
problem though
notice.
is that then if we have a 4th that we're not voting on, we can't vote on the development plan.
Correct. That was what we were just talking about, so,
So
yeah.
I would,
You do have in the rules a motion to postpone to a date certain. So, I think that's something that could be entertained by the commission tonight. They have limited actions that you can take, but motion to postpone to a date certain is one of them.
is that where we could postpone to the next hearing date, or our next meeting date, that's going to be at Tech Center?
Is that long enough to have it
I don't know what,
publicized?
We just need 1 week for a public notice.
Okay.
I was going to ask, sorry, don't mean,
Yeah,
to-
no.
if it's possible to schedule a special meeting instead of waiting for another.
Yeah, because it would be a month before,
could we do, you said you need a week?
Yeah, so we could have a meeting in 2 weeks. The public notice would have to be published by next Wednesday. Typically, how we do it is it's published by Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday is the meeting.
Mr. Blackford, did you have something?
Certainly, that's something we can entertain. I would say that's unusual, but one good thing in Gahanna is that we allow folks to move forward with engineering and building permitting. And part of that is so there's not this big backlog and people waiting. So, there are things that they can do in the meantime to make sure that this project moves forward. But obviously, we'll accommodate whatever the will of Planning Commission is.
I mean, we haven't heard from the applicants. Do you mind stepping up? Are you Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Okay.
Leland Vogel,
Thank
80
you.
Dorchester Square.
I mean, I apologize for this
It's okay.
tonight.
It's all right.
What would work best for you? I mean, would it work best for you to wait till our next meeting, which is in September?
Our preference, because we are working towards closing on the property in September,
Okay.
is to do the special meeting route.
Okay.
What we would say, related to pursuing further engineering and things like that is we don't like to invest further in design and development until we've checked the box on the entitlement stage very respectfully. So that's, that would be our preference, would be to try to move it a little bit more quickly.
Okay, thank you. I think I would tend to agree with that. If there's any way possible, I know everybody's busy, if there's any way possible to entertain a special meeting.
and a slight complication,
Yes.
because we're working between two buildings right now. We're not going to have use of the chambers at the new building until after September 8th. Council is having the first meeting there September 8th.
Can we meet here?
We can do it here.
Okay.
So depending on when you want to calendar it, it sounds like 2 weeks would be
Would have to
best
be two- yeah.
as far as noticing it, but we could do it here and not at the new building.
Because if she notices it tomorrow.
If you want to do a Wednesday, that would be 2 weeks from now would be the soonest Wednesday that we could do it. But we could do, if I posted it, say Thursday, tomorrow, we could do a meeting next Thursday.
Okay. I guess I'll look to the commissioners first. What would work for everybody's schedules here? Next Thursday, or, which is the 20th, or the 26th? I assume we would probably meet at our regular time, which is 6:30, just to consider this application.
Yeah, most likely out of town on the 26th.
26th.
How about everybody else?
No, I'm good.
I can do the 26th.
I'm working out of town, the 26th and
Okay.
27th. I could do next Thursday.
I can't do Thursday.
Okay. Who can do Thursday? Next Thursday, the 20th? Mr. Chappaka, can
I
you?
prefer the 26th.
Okay. But can you do the 20th? Or are you?
I'm looking at Director Blackford. You're good.
I'm gonna get,
Yep, we're good.
I'm gonna get to you. I just want to see what the availability is here, and then I'm gonna ask you.
I raised my hand.
Okay.
You're available.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Roth?
Oh, I'm available.
Okay,
I don't
Sophia?
have a lot.
Just to be clear too, as far as I know, there are no meetings taking place in this room after the 17th. So in order to work with the public notice requirements as well, I believe that the 20th, 21st, I assume we don't want to meet on a Friday evening.
No.
The 24th, 25th, 26th are all options.
I mean, so,
The 25th is the big opening.
yeah, we can't, the 25th is Tech Center's opening. Everybody's gonna be there, so
Yeah.
nobody's gonna be here. I'm not available the 24th. I guess show of hands, who prefers the 20th?
There you go.
And the 26th? Okay. Mr. Blackford, Matt, whatever.
Yes, that's
Okay.
good with whatever.
All right, I mean, it looks like we're not gonna have quorum if we meet on the 26th, so I think we're gonna have to do the 20th. And whoever can be here, well, we need at least 5. I think 5 people can for sure be here. So let's schedule that. Does that work for you guys?
Just, what is the next planning commission date if we are supposed to close on this property, full disclosure, on the 10th of September? Is it,
Well,
I'm
our next
assuming
meeting
it's
is the
after.
9th.
The next one is the 9th?
Yeah,
Let's do that.
are you sure?
Yes.
Can you push your closing a few more, like till the Monday or Tuesday of the following week?
Yes.
Just in case?
Yes.
Okay,
We will figure it out.
okay. All right. Thank you
Sorry
very
for all the
much.
back and forth.
No, thank you very much for your flexibility. I really appreciate it. And again, I apologize for the oversight tonight.
No, that's okay. These things happen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's-
And she won't ever do it again.
I am perfect, so I've never made a mistake, but I'm,
Well, we appreciate your flexibility.
Sure.
And then, so this will be on the agenda for our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Madam Chair, is it appropriate to have everybody make a comment, because he's got a month, to kind of get a feel for where we were sitting or what we were thinking?
Like, kind of like a workshop type thing?
No, just a comment of, how we would possibly vote, or that has to be done after a motion.
I don't, since it's not like technically, is that something we could do? I don't have a problem with it if that's, I don't want to be out of order though.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules.
We're making him work tonight.
I know.
Good thing I brought the book over from the other building.
I already inappropriately interjected, so I apologize, Director Blackford.
No, you're fine.
So,
The only reason I would hesitate is because we didn't notice it up for that. Like, it's not noticed up for a workshop type thing, so I wouldn't, I just don't know if it's proper.
And we haven't had testimony.
Correct.
I don't think our rules specifically, I know that's how our agenda works, but I don't see anything in the rules that specifically talk about it, but they say that debate on a motion shall be controlled by the chair. Well, wait, 7.4. Applicant shall be given public comment, planning commission, yeah, so, it is listed as 7.4.8, discussion and comment is after public no, the motion comes before that, or after that, so,
I mean, we have a motion, right?
okay.
No, not yet, I'm sorry.
Not on this one.
No, I apologize.
You don't have-
We were ready to start,
I mean, it's on the
Public
agenda, so I
comment.
think prior to a motion, you could discuss if you want. I
Okay.
think that would fit within the rules, but
okay, I mean, if that's what people want to do.
I would say, is it beneficial for you to have any kind of a feel for what we would be voting?
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that's, I mean, if everybody is okay with that, I don't have a problem with it.
I think that, well, I want to start that.
You want to start?
I will start.
Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You always start,
So all
yes.
the issues that presented before us with all the variances, whatever, I was in favor of finding that unique little lot and being able to tuck something in there. The variances seemed to be pretty appropriate, so I was leaning towards yes. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mako?
Thank you, Madam
Do you have
Chair.
any comments?
I'll defer my comments until September. Thank you.
Mr. Soriano?
I would just say that, it's an odd-shaped lot, and I think the applicant did a good job citing the project and the appropriate, parking and landscape, given the conditions on the site.
Thanks.
Ms. Leeser?
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah.
I am in favor of the variances. The only question I had was the one where I wasn't knowing if I was allowed to ask a question about the trees. So you have like 24 companies or customers, correct, that you would have on the site?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have like 50 parking spots. Is the reason that the tree count, like that 21 versus 7, is it because you only had to have 8 parking spots and all those, like where the trees would be are the extra parking spots?
So yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. I mean, we have other like facilities in and around the city of Columbus, and so we know that the parking really matters for getting these spaces filled. And the site I'm sure you can see it is a super tight, weird site with 30 feet of fall from the east to the west. It is a really quirky site. And so once we got kind of our most basic program in there of building and kind of minimal parking that we could get, even though the code only requires 8, we know that we will need more than that for the reason that you just stated. We're gonna have many more businesses in there. We just couldn't fit any more.
And that'll be enough, like 2 parking spots per customer or company?
Yeah.
That seems in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, we've got another like facility over in Hilliard, and that facility has an overhead door and 1 parking spot per tenant space, and we don't have any issue with
They
parking
manage, okay.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my only question, was just figuring out where would the trees go that you need to put in? There's- Where the parking spots are that you also need.
Or the retention pond. I mean, the retention pond, the city of Gahanna has, slightly higher elevated stormwater management requirements, trying to kind of protect, the public infrastructure here and the neighboring properties. And so the pond is a little bit bigger than it might be in some of the other communities. And so that's another area that's drawing from where we could put trees.
Okay.
And the only other spot is a place that's completely wooded. So planting more trees in there seems inappropriate.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Greenberg, anything?
I would be in support, but I won't be here in September.
That's right, you'll be on your vacation. Is everybody else going to be here in September? We should make sure we're all going to be here. Okay, good. All right. Mr. Tamarkin?
I had a slew of questions, all fairly minor, but nothing in my mind that would hold up the project.
Okay, I'm going to defer any comments that I have to the next meeting as well, but I am fairly impressed with what you were able to do with that shaped lot. When I first saw that, I was wondering how that was all going to work, so.
We had a lot of help.
Yeah, I figured you probably did. Okay. All right, well, thank you again for your flexibility, and we'll look forward to hearing more from you next month. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Are we going to do the motion to continue to a date certain?
Yes, we are. Yes. Can I get a motion to continue the Gahanna Flex Park variance application and development plan applications for our next meeting on September 8th? Is that the day? 9th, sorry. At the new building.
Now say that again?
I made a motion to continue the Gahanna Flex Park applications, the variance and the development plan to our next meeting, which is September 8th.
Very good. I'd like to make a motion to continue variance application number V0016-2026 and development plan DP 0005-2026 until the September 8th meeting.
Is it 8th or 9th?
It's
Ninth.
ninth,
Ninth
sorry.
meeting.
Sorry.
9th meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Chapaka, seconded by Ms. Laser. Is there any discussion on this motion? Okay, great. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chapaka.
Yes.
Laser.
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
Suriano.
Yes.
Tamarkin.
Yes.
Greenberg.
Yes.
Mako.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Interesting.
Thank you. Moving on in our agenda, do we have any unfinished business tonight? I don't believe so. Any new business? No, don't believe we have any new business either. Okay, moving on to official reports. Mr. Assistant City Attorney?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Mr. Blackford, Director of Planning.
Yeah, just want to apologize for us missing that for the advertisement. It actually used to be a pretty common occurrence, maybe half a dozen times a year back in the day with different staff and with the newspaper requirements. So it's actually something that happens kind of regularly. It's been quite a while, but there's no excuses for something like that. So I'd like to apologize to the applicant and everyone for missing that on our part. Was going to try to say something nice about this being our last meeting, but now I kind of feel like I let you all down. So a lot of memories in this place. Looking forward to making new memories at 825 and that. So it's bittersweet that this is our last meeting here tonight.
I agree. Thank you. Ms. Lazar, council liaison.
Just two things. One, congratulations on, Sophia earned her certified municipal clerk certification. Did I say that right? Yes. And from the little presentation, you are in like good company. Like that's, not everybody gets that, so congratulations. Yes. And then, I hope I word this right, but all 10 resolutions were submitted for voters on the charter amendments. And those were received by the Board of Elections. And those were the two big takeaways, I think, for us from the meetings.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Madam Mayor, you have anything for us tonight?
Only that we are, the move to 825 has been underway. This week, we welcomed, as you walk through the hallways here, everybody in this building is now ensconced into 825 Tech Center Drive. Tomorrow, we open officially to the public, so they'll be able to come in. Even though people tried to come in to pay their water bill while we had boxes everywhere, we were not yet open. But tomorrow, they can come in and pay their water bills in the brand-new Civic Center. And we hope you will join us on 825 for the official dedication ceremony and ribbon cutting as we dedicate that building to the community. Starts at 5, program will start at like 5:30, and then we'll have just open house where people can explore the public spaces on the first floor. Thanks to those of you who were able to join us for a tour. If you weren't able to make that tour, we can get you. I'll get you in some other spaces at another time. But then just a reminder, this coming Monday, 8/17, is the last council meeting in these chambers. There's a reception that starts at 6:30 p.m. You can see some of the historical boards that our intern, Karis Lance, who was here for the summer in our council office, prepared. So we'll have a reception and give this building a farewell that it deserves. And then the first council meeting in the new building, as was mentioned already, will be September 8th, which is the Tuesday after Labor Day. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. It was fun watching all the employees walk in. I said it was like watching my kids open their presents on Christmas morning as they just walked around and looked at the space and the modern technology, just having space, right? And I'll look at like Director Blackford, his department especially. They have room to move and to work collaboratively. It really is a phenomenal space for our community that will serve us well. So looking forward to welcoming everybody in.
To spread out your big surveys I saw when I was there, so that's nice. Just one comment, as chair, I was just gonna say something because this is our last meeting here. I mean, this building's been around forever. I remember coming here when I was a kid for Mayor's Court, when I got a traffic ticket when I was 16 years old. And the mayor was nice enough, it was Mayor McGregor, was nice enough to give me a stern warning. So, but that was one of my first experiences with even the political system. So I also have fond memories of this place. You know, it's bittersweet, just like it was when the high school came down. You know, you move on to something new because of necessity, and we certainly have a beautiful building to move on to. I was lucky enough to be part of that tour that Mayor Jadlin was talking about and got to see the building. It's amazing. Hopefully everybody can go on 825 and take a look. Hopefully you can get in there soon. And that's all I have. Is there any correspondence and actions? No. Nothing. Okay, any additional comments? Mr. Chapaka, how about you?
Well, thank you. You know, this building is very close to my house. I'm not going to like the next 3 extra lights I have to take to get over to the new one. It is nice to hear that we now have somebody who's certified to do the job, which is very nice. You were doing an excellent job before that. Didn't know there was a certificate out there, certification that was required. I'm sure you passed with flying colors. And Mr. Blackford, if this is the only little blight tonight in your little stellar career in this building, we will take it. We won't even mention Maddie's name. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mako.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, mention Maddie's name, just want to say that you folks do a tremendous job, and don't sweat the small stuff. It's all good. So thank you for your work. That's all.
Mr. Soriano.
I echo comments of my commission members, and I would just say I love watching people walk into new buildings and new spaces. It's like these projects involve so many people, and they're so laborious, and it's really hard to make a building. And so being able to see people get new space, and I think it just makes our work better. It makes our communities better. So I'm really excited for you all. I'm excited that we get to sit in new chambers, and I'm really excited for Gahanna. So look forward to seeing you all next month.
Ms. Leeser.
No comment.
Mr. Greenberg.
I did take the tour of the 825, and it's spectacular, absolutely spectacular. So I think we're all going to enjoy it. I think there's a little screen for everybody in front.
There is. We don't have to
I'm not gonna
crane our necks
my neck
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
It doesn't smell moldy.
It smells nice in here. So, yes, I forgot about that. Mr. Tamarkin.
No comments.
Okay. I don't have any additional comments either, other than mistakes happen. It's fine. Everybody's flexible. We're good. Thank you for everything you do. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. We're adjourned.